Audit and Finance Committee of Thursday, February 26th. Council, please call the roll.
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Willingham is excused. Demolowitz.
Here?
Alex. Here. Camisso.
Here.
Reedy.
Here.
Ray Joyce.
Here.
Lakakis. Bergdorf.
Here.
And Grimm.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Excellent. Number one, approval of previous minutes. Motion by, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Items 2 and 3 are tabled at request of sponsor.
Number four,
Item 4 is amount levy for unpaid water and sewer charges in the city of Cohoes. Mike McGuire is here this evening.
Good evening, Audit and Finance Committee. How's everyone doing this evening? All right. Item 4. Hey, all right. Amounts levied for unpaid water and sewer in the city of Cohoes. The resolution outlines the amounts of unpaid water and sewer charges that are being collected by the city of Cohoes as part of their 2026 tax collection.
are there any questions? Motion by Ray, second by Dustin, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Item 5 is amounts levied for municipal charges in the city of Cohoes.
This resolution outlines the amounts for various municipal charges that are being collected by the city of Cohoes as part of their 2026 tax collection.
Are there any questions? Motion by Ray, second by Dustin, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you.
Item 6 is authorizing the levy upon the city of Cohoes property of the amount needed for various purposes.
Last resolution for City of Cohoes, this is the actual amount that's to be levied for property taxes for the 2026 tax collection.
Are there any questions? Motion by Lynn, second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. Number 7,
7 is authorizing a correction to the tax roll for the city of Albany.
The City of Albany's requested correction to the 2025-2026 school tax bill for 294A Colony Street in the City of Albany. The property was erroneously assessed as a commercial parking garage. In fact, there's actually no structures on the property. This is considered an error of essential fact as defined by Real Property Tax Law, Section 553A. The reason it's a school tax bill and it's here, it went unpaid, so it came over to the county for collection. So that's why I'm here to request your approval to correct that bill.
any questions? Motion by Lynn, second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Item 8 is authorizing corrections to the tax roll for the town of Bethlehem.
Town of Bethlehem's requesting a correction to the 2026 property tax bill for 1239 Delaware Turnpike in the town of Bethlehem. There was a school tax bill for 2526 that was paid. The payment processor, due to an error on their part, did not indicate that it was paid. It got turned over to the county for collection, showing that it was unpaid, but in fact it was actually paid. This is a clerical error as defined by Real Property Tax Law, Section 552H, and I'm seeking your approval to correct that tax bill.
Are there any questions? Motion by Frank, second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you.
Item 9 is authorizing corrections to the tax roll for the town of New Scotland.
Same deal as the last one. A payment that was paid. That was the payment processor showed as unpaid, so it's a clerical error under 2H, and just seeking your approval to correct that bill. And then I will say the only reason these bills are all here for you because they are greater than the $2,500 that the legislature has given prior approval to approve, so that's why they're before you this evening.
Any questions? Motion, Dustin, second by Frank, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 10 is a bond resolution of the County of Albany, New York, authorizing architectural and engineering services at the MVP Arena, stating the estimated maximum cost thereof is $600,000, appropriating said amount therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $600,000 bonds of said county to finance said appropriation. Commissioner Latina is here this evening.
Yes, this was approved in the 2025 capital plan. We're just looking to go out for funding on this as needed for the architectural and engineering for the MVP projects that are going to be happening in the future.
Are there any questions? Mr. Grimm?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, the RLA says many of the MVP Arena facilities are aged and would benefit from a structural and engineering evaluation. That doesn't give me a lot of confidence. How bad are they?
Oh, that's just a general. These are for projects like we've done. We use the architectural and engineering to redo the stairwells, enclose the stairwells, that type of stuff, redoing the loading dock, those all need engineering. It's not so much that, it's kind of, the wording is a little bit off on that. It really shouldn't be that the place is deteriorating. These are for just to keep maintenance and any new projects that need to be done in there.
So it's not like, oh, that's a problem, we have to do something, it's just standard maintenance.
It's standard maintenance and upgrades for the properties itself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else? Motion to move? Alex, second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Item 11 is a bond resolution of the County of Albany, New York, authorizing the financing of the purchase and/or sale of county real property, stating the estimated maximum cost thereof is $3 million, appropriating said amount therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3 million bonds of said county to finance said appropriation.
Yes, this project is in the current capital plan. We're looking for funding of $3 million for property acquisition. As it comes up, the money will be sitting there and taken as we need it for any kind of acquisition for new properties, as we're kind of restacking the county offices if we need to buy anything and/or that type of work.
Are there any questions?
Yes, Mr.
Chairman
Chairman,
Graham?
a little more specificity if we could on this. What is your expectation in terms of what property you are?
That is, I could probably, the answer for that would probably be best from management and budget and/or the county executive. I could probably get you the answers, but there's nothing right now that's set. I know we're talking about moving probation. Do we have to buy a building for probation? If we're talking about moving another county department and we need to buy something, this money is going to be used for that. Right now, there is no initial plan on buying anything at this point that I believe, but that's not Department of General Services part of this.
Do you know a question about selling this building or not? Do you know any more about that, because that's come up?
No, I do not. No, I do not. I know there's been some talk about it. I don't believe if we do, it would be right away. We would have to find another buildings, like in this plan, or future monies in a plan to find something else to move people around. Do we use the whole St. Rose? Use all the buildings up at St. Rose and move all the departments up there. Same thing with the new 3 and 4 at the nursing home, that we're doing those floors over. Once we start moving people around, do we get rid of this building?
So this property acquisition fund could be used for an alternative building?
Yes, that's what this money is for.
Nothing's been determined from your point of view?
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Berghoff?
Quick question, this is probably more for Commissioner Riley. Do we intend on issuing these bonds right away, or are you looking to have the authority to issue them so that these are on deck circle? Because what I look at is, right now, we don't have any debt, and the moment we issue bonds, we start accruing interest. So until those monies are going to be drawn down, have we thought about what the time frames are for draws, and whether or not we be accruing or have a debit of interest from day one of bond issuance?
So we haven't issued any new debt in 3 years now. The understanding that I have with the comptroller's office on the same page is that any debt going forward will not be issued until the expenses have been realized. So we eliminate the issues we had in the past under the previous comptroller of over borrowing up front.
Well, that's what I wanted to
Yes.
hear. So this authorization is in the on-deck circle.
Yes,
So
and this-
should you need to borrow, you have access to it in a timely way.
Well, and not only that, it also will grant the option of the county to, once the authorization is there, we can start, if something comes along in one of these projects where we have to acquire a building, we would have the authorization to spend in anticipation of borrowing.
Okay, pre-spend
Yep.
before the bond issue.
Yep.
Understood.
But that way we don't overborrow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions? Motion to move. Alex, second by Dustin, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Item 12 is amending the 2026 Albany County budget for administrative adjustments. DMV Commissioner is here.
So, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, this is the annual cleanup that we do every year. It's mostly small stuff that departments miss, whether it was, like for DPW, for example, their employees operate in a slightly different way than the rest of the bargaining units in terms of the 52, 53-week division. So they didn't actually account for that extra week for the year. So that's why you'll see these extra $800,000 going into the employees. Some steps were missed. There's I know the Soil and Water, one of the legislators actually brought it to my attention that the woman who runs that for the county had not gotten a COLA. So it's basically all the little things that were missed, as well as there's some in there that also have to do with kind of things that pivoted a little from when the budget was submitted to now. Kind of how we want to purpose people and stuff like that. So that if you were defunding certain positions to refund it as a slightly different title, things along those lines. 100% budget neutral, pretty standard every year.
Are there any net new positions with these adjustments?
I would have to go back to you and do a little math on that, but I can get that to you guys.
Okay. Would you let our office know?
Yep.
Are there any other questions? Oh, Mr. Berghoff?
Yeah, is this the document that sort of closes out the year 2025, or are we not there yet?
No, that will actually come from the comptroller where she does all
Well,
the,
that's what
Yeah, she
what's my
kinda-
next step.
as part of her closing process, she'll identify any lines that were overspent, things along those lines, and do all
And
the
that's where we
shuffling.
calculate where we are with the fund balance.
Yeah, that's
the
that's-
snapshot in time.
That's a step in that process, yes.
creates the official fund balance. Thank
Yep.
you.
Any other questions? Motion to move? Alex, second by Dustin, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item 13 is authorizing an agreement with the Advanced Albany County Alliance Local Development Corporation regarding the Albany County Affordable Housing Initiatives Plan.
Good evening, members. So this request is to enter into agreement with the Advanced Albany County Alliance for the transfer and disbursement of funding for the Affordable Housing Initiatives Act, which was enacted as Local Law L of 2025, passed in December of last year. This amount is for $400,000 in 2025 money.
Are there any questions? Mr. Berghoff?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what this $400,000 is for. What, because there's another one afterwards, which is a transfer to the fund, and we can talk about that then. But what do we anticipate that this $400,000 will be used for?
So the idea of this is seed money, quote unquote, for the revolving housing trust fund. So this is like the initial infusion of cash that allows the local law L to be operationalized by the Alliance.
Okay, well, I guess, well, maybe I'll explain why I'm asking these questions. Right now, this money is 100% county money, right?
Correct.
And it is sitting in an interest-bearing account, and the county is accruing the benefit of this $400,000, and then the $1.6 million to follow. And I was of the opinion that we were all going to work together collaboratively for Part 3 of the housing law, which is how is the financing going to actually work? And they were going to put together a proposal and a business plan, and I guess I'm trying to figure out, before that happens, before Phase 3 is approved, what's a legitimate expenditure? If there is no control on this money, other than we're going to give them $400,000 for startup fees, I don't know what those fees are. And I'm supportive of this. I voted for both parts of the other housing law.
Sure.
But this is a question of why are we moving money today if we don't have a plan as to how we're going to spend it? So when somebody says seed money, that means to me somebody anticipates spending money, and I'm not sure what it's for. And since this is a huge expenditure and we're going to be putting millions and millions and millions of dollars into the Alliance for this program, we have, in essence, moved that decision-making capacity from the legislature to the Alliance, but but until we know what they're gonna do and how they're doing it, it seems to me that that's premature, especially if we're losing interest. Now, if there's some compelling reason why we have to transfer $2 million today, when, I don't know when we're gonna be up and running, I don't know when we're gonna have a phase 3 of the bill. 1.6 plus the 400,000. 1.2, whatever, I'm sorry, 1.6 total. My math is bad sometimes.
Sorry.
But I'm just trying to figure out what we anticipate for seed costs, and why do we gotta transfer $1.6 million today when it's a financial benefit for the county, and there's no way that we're gonna be able to spend this money in the short term. So
Yeah, so we're not transferring the money today necessarily. Also, this is just the authorization. My understanding is, and DMB can jump in here, we're not planning on transferring the money as soon as this is, submitted to the Department of State, right, after the full legislative body passes it. I think we just want to make sure we're all sort of moving in the right direction, and I could defer to council, to the chairwoman about the part 3 that you referenced, but I know that is in development, and I'm not sure about the actual mechanics of how that plan gets developed, but I do think we want to make sure that the authorization has been done, so when everything comes together, we could transfer the money. But it's my understanding that we're not going to transfer the money as soon as this is authorized by the full legislature.
Well, one of the things that I had heard anecdotally was that the Alliance was going to hire some consultants to help develop this plan. Is that part of the seed money? Are we looking at consultants for that $400,000 in seed money?
I can't speak to the consultants, Thomas, you jump in if you want, but I do think that there's an inherent cost of getting this up and running, yes, and I do think, there's reference to private contributors to this fund as well, so I think it's a matter of putting our money where our mouth is and ensuring that this is actually really happening, and that only really happens when the money has been authorized by the legislature. So I think we are trying to line everything up, and I mean, you can't really time everything perfectly, but I think the county executive's office is just doing our part to transfer the money. Thomas, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think I've got a couple of tag team questions here, and Dave, I want to go back and forth with you. I believe that this 1.6 originates all the way back 2 years ago on initial agreements about moving forward for housing. So this is just, originally the chair and the deputy chair were considering doing a different type of housing initiative, and the agreement with the executive's office was that this $1.6 million was going to be there. I believe that was 2024?
Yes.
Yeah.
It might have been encumbered.
Yeah, it was
originally.
encumbered for that, it was encumbered for that purpose. As it transformed from that purpose into what is now the housing initiatives, okay, this money has just kind of been carried forward as part of that agreement. So that, as to answering what its origin is that. As for, are we hiring consultants on that? That's not before us at the moment. That's not a part of the plan. That's not what we're utilizing this for. At the moment, this is simply the authorization to have that money available. The next step, of course, in Housing 3 is going to be the announcement of the committee. We are in the process of working on the selections for that, and that will be the procedure, and then we will start developing those regulations and the plan that we will present in front of you so that you can take a look at it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me, just, I don't have a problem with the 400,000 for seed money for developmental costs and incidentals. But I would like to know that we're not going to, if the county's getting interest on $1.6 million, moving it to the Alliance before there is an operational phase 3, a business plan, et cetera. I think if, the county executive and OMB were to say, we're not going to move that until that happens, that would be a different thing. But to do an open-ended, transfer, and I'm not sure why there are two separate RLAs, and I'm not sure what the difference between each of the two of them is, But, once again, would you take the money out of your own personal checking account and give it to someone else for something that may not happen for a year and a half?
Well, as Cam said, this is solely looking for the authorization for that. And I think part of that even goes to when we're going to Department of State and all that to show that the county is committed to putting up money. But as you've seen with other transfers of money to the Alliance, for the most part, the majority of it has been reimbursement. They spend, we reimburse them back, or we fund to a certain amount, they spend it down, we fund to a certain amount again. But we don't just throw money over there.
Okay, well, that's why I'm asking what the question is. If you're telling me that that's the case, that's a good thing, and we're not just cutting a total of $1.6 million in checks and sending it over to the Alliance when we don't know what it is that they're doing.
My anticipation.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for your point.
I'm sorry.
Okay, any other questions? Motion to move it?
I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, seed money makes me a little nervous because it's not really defined. I want to we will have the opportunity as a legislature to vote on the seed money allocation.
Well, as Thomas just said before, the next phase where it's determined how everything is set up is still coming. Nothing's
Yeah.
going to be spent until this is all put into place and, approved.
I'm trying to get a better handle on I thought the funding mechanism for the housing initiative was getting a piece of the fund balance.
Going forward, that's it, yes.
So this is an initial speed.
This is the seed money.
seed money coming from the county budget.
Yes.
But so
the
the-
future funding is the complicated formula for the fund balance, is that correct?
Yeah, so the formula for continuing going forward, it depends on the previous year, right? So it needs the seed funding upfront, and then the future contribution will be dependent on the undesignated fund balance percentage, right? So you look back the year prior. So it inherently needs the upfront money to start operations and.
And and once again, just to kind of bring that back in, it's upfront money that we've already allocated for a housing purpose. It's not new appropriations that we are acquiring for a housing purpose. This has always been the plan.
I understand
I know,
that, and based on what Dave said, I am comfortable. I just wanted to hear someone say, we're not transferring money. I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Grimm,
Mr.
next
Grimm.
floor.
Thank you.
I don't have to cut it in your time.
Thank you, fine gentlemen. Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I just think, I've seen in the legislature over the years, more and more authority moving from the legislature to specific committees. And the Advanced Albany is a separate entity. So is the housing, they have their own panel. I am a proponent of having the legislature have as much say as possible on how every dollar is spent. So that's a concern I have, and that's why I asked how much role the legislature can play in approving this money. I know you need some flexibility, and we're building something here, but I just want to make a point that the legislature really needs to be involved in how we spend our money.
Well, I will say, you have say right now in how the money's spent, but I will also say that the idea behind the alliance was to remove the politics and the government away from how economic development money is spent. So I think if, the legislature and the county executive all have appointments to the board of the alliance, so that is our influence on these decisions, but ultimately, we all agreed that the creation of the alliance was a good idea, and so we're giving this money to the alliance to, to be the experts on economic development, on housing, things of that nature. So I think it's important that when we give this money to the alliance to spend it, we're entrusting them to spend it appropriately as the experts.
Well,
Thank you very much. Mr. Grimm,
okay, no,
you all set?
Thank you.
Yeah, the Alliance is the most appropriate place for this to be.
Yeah, but
They have the people and they
I
have
want
the
us to
staff.
continue our oversight too. I mean,
Yeah, I understand. No,
it's a mixed bag.
Money makes people do crazy things. Motion, second by Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.
And item 14 is essentially the same thing. but
Basically the same thing.
Authorizing an agreement with the Advanced Albany County Alliance Local Development Corporation regarding the Albany County Revolving Housing Loan Fund. And this is the 1.27 million.
Any questions? Motion to move by Ray, second by Alex, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Can I say something about
Yeah.
Number 3, about K, local law K. I tabled it today because we weren't really quite finished with it. And some of you were here yesterday, so I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say it again anyway, so just because. There's 2 versions there. One has Susan Petto's name on it, so that's the older one. The one that says my name on it is the newer one. We're not quite finished with it, but we're getting there, and we'd like you to read it, please, and send any questions that you have to council, so that when we're hammering out the last of it, we can be voted on it next month. So if you have any questions, send them to me, send them to them.
Which one are you talking about?
Okay.
Short-term rentals.
The legislative text or the?
Yeah, there were 2 yesterday. Yeah, this one, Lakakis, is the current one.
Okay.
And the grant is, and the first one is, first one says who you had, so you don't have to look at that. If you want to look at the history, it's there. Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
That's it. Motion adjourned? Motion. Second by Alex, all in favor?